Is that one you guys had to when you're in the military?
Oh, I didn't get any in the military.
No.
Well, thank you all for being here today. My name is Anita Hartsell. I'm the Department Head in Senior Veteran Services for Brunswick County Veteran Services. Our office is provided by Brunswick County to assist Brunswick County veterans and their family members in applying for benefits to the Department of Veterans Affairs. We are located at the Government Complex Center in Bolivia, in Building F as in Foxtrot. We are just a 3-person department. There's myself, and I now have 2 other VSOs. We're there Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. We do work by appointment. That way we have time to prepare for your appointment and make sure that you have the documentation and information that you need to bring with you to apply for benefits to the VA. There's basically 7 categories of benefits that the VA provides. There's compensation, pension, medical care and benefits, education, home loan guarantee, insurance, and burial. And I'll talk with you about a couple of these different benefits today. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is service-connected disabilities. That's when the veteran has a current diagnosed disability that we can show is caused by their military service. And there's 1 of 4 ways in which to do that. One is direct, where you had a direct injury while you were on active duty, or you were diagnosed with a medical condition while you were on active duty. So say you were out in the field and messed up your knee, or were working in the motor pool and messed up your back, or you were diagnosed with hypertension or acid reflux, or hearing loss or tinnitus, and that's been a chronic condition for you since your military service, then we can apply for service connection for that. The second is through aggravation, where if you had a disability prior to entering the military service, and you can show that your military service aggravated that condition beyond its normal progression, then we can apply to get that service connected as well. The third is through presumption, and that's when you have served in designated combat areas during specified time periods, or were exposed to certain tropical diseases or things where the VA would presume that exposure caused you to develop certain medical conditions. We see that a lot with Vietnam veterans exposed to Agent Orange in Vietnam. And then the fourth is through secondary, where if you already have a disability that is service connected, and we can show that disability has caused another condition to develop, then we can secondarily get that condition service connected with the VA. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is about presumptive conditions for Agent Orange veterans. I have a handout up here for anybody that served in Vietnam where they would have been exposed to Agent Orange. The most common conditions we see in Vietnam veterans is type 2 diabetes mellitus, prostate cancer, ischemic heart disease, also known as coronary artery disease, where you have blockages leading to the heart, may have had stents placed, or had a heart attack. And then Parkinson's disease. The VA has recently added bladder cancer, hypothyroidism, and Parkinsonism, or Parkinson-like symptoms. They recognized before that Parkinson's disease, but a lot of Vietnam veterans were also developing Parkinson-like symptoms, but not an official diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, so they've added those conditions to the Agent Orange presumptive list. For the veterans, with regards to exposure to Agent Orange, they had to have set foot on land in Vietnam, or they served, if they were in the Navy, they served on a vessel within 12 nautical miles of the coast of Vietnam or Cambodia for that exposure to be acknowledged. If you served in Korea between 68 and 71, where you served along the demilitarized zone or DMZ in Korea, and you were in a unit that was at the DMZ, then you were presumed to have been exposed to Agent Orange. If there's any Air Force veterans that worked on C-123 aircraft, both active duty and reserve from 69 to 86, they are presumed to have been exposed to Agent Orange based on those aircraft being an Operation Ranch Hand that sprayed the Agent Orange chemicals. And also for any Thailand veterans that served during Vietnam, if they served as military police or in some MOS, where they would have been along the perimeter of the bases in Thailand, and they were presumed to have been exposed to Agent Orange in service. And for all veterans, any veteran that served at least 90 days of continuous active duty or more that develops ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, it's presumed to have been caused by your military service, and VA would get service connection for that. If there's any Marine Corps veterans in here that would have served at Camp Lejeune or at the Marine Corps Air River Station at New River, there was water contamination, and VA has recognized that if a veteran served there between August 1st of 53 and December 31st of 87 and had at least 30 days of continuous active duty at Camp Lejeune or Marine Corps River Air Station or New River, then they were exposed to the chemicals in the water. And the majority of the conditions on that presumptive list are cancers, with the exception of the Parkinson's disease and aplastic anemia and other myelodysplastic syndromes. And I have that list up here for any veterans that served at Camp Lejeune or Marine Corps Air Station New River. The next benefit I want to talk to you about is the pension program. This is different from compensation. Compensation is when you have a disability from your military service. The pension program is when the veteran served during a wartime period. They had to have at least 1 day during wartime. If they served prior to September 7th of 1980, they had to have at least 90 days of active duty with 1 day during that wartime period. Pension is an income and net worth-based program. This is very beneficial for those who basically only have income from Social Security, or they're going into an assisted living facility or a nursing home where they receive skilled nursing care. Anything they pay out of pocket can be used medical expense-wise to help reduce their income in the VA's eyes. For anyone that's under age 65, they have to have disabilities that warrant them to be too disabled to work. After age 65, you don't have to have any disabilities. It's based on age. Net worth is a factor. Currently, the net worth cap, you cannot have more than $130,773 in net worth. With regards to pension, they do not count your primary residence because you have to have somewhere to live, and they do not count your automobile because you have to get back and forth to your doctor's appointments. But if you own any property other than your primary residence, or you have money in bank accounts, checking, savings, stocks, bonds, IRAs, mutual funds, anything like that, that's counted in your net worth factor. If you have more than $130,773, then you wouldn't be eligible for pension at this time until you bring your net worth at that level. With regards to pension, there's 3 basic levels with regards to pension. There's what I call the basic level, a housebound level, and an aid and attendance level. For a veteran, a single veteran, the basic rate only allows an annual income of $13,931. If that veteran is married, it goes to $18,243. If that veteran is housebound and cannot get out of the house without the assistance of another person, they have to have someone drive them for anything that they need. For a single veteran, the allowance is $17,024 per year. And if they are married, it goes to $21,337. If the veteran needs aid and attendance of another person, they need help with their activities of daily living, bathing, dressing, medication management, meal preparation, that sort of thing. For a single veteran, the income allowance is $23,238. And for a married veteran, it's $27,549. As far as any type of medical expenses that can be used to reduce your income, Medicare premiums, supplemental health insurance premiums, any co-payments you pay out of pocket to doctors, hospitals for prescription medications. You have to keep track of your medical mileage, your travel from home to the doctor's office and back, or pharmacy and back, and any over-the-counter medications that typically a doctor would recommend or prescribe. Those can be used as medical expenses. If you're in an assisted living facility, it has to be that you need assistance with 2 of 3 things, either bathing, dressing, or toiletry assistance. If you need help with at least 2 of those 3 things, then what you're paying to the assisted living facility can be used as a medical expense. If you don't need help with those things in an assisted living facility, then the VA looks at that as room and you're paying room and board. If you are in skilled nursing care, then the full amount being paid for skilled nursing care can be used as a medical expense to reduce your income in VA's eyes. The pension program is also available for surviving spouses of veterans that served during wartime period and meet those requirements. The pension limits for a surviving spouse, the basic rate is $9,344. Housebound is $11,420, and aid and attendance is $14,934. And anytime the VA has a cost of living raise, those amounts go up based on that cost of living raise. With regards to medical benefits through the VA medical system, there's 8 basic priority groups with regards to medical care. Those priority groups are based upon whether or not you have a service-connected disability, received a Purple Heart, prisoner of war, or Medal of Honor recipient, served in designated combat areas during specified time periods, and then it's based upon your household income. With regards to those veterans that don't meet the first sets of criteria with regards to service connection, receiving a Purple Heart, prisoner of war, Medal of Honor, or served in designated combat areas, and their eligibility through the VA medical system is based on their income, the household income. For a single veteran, the relaxed threshold priority group aid is the income has to be at or below $38,078 per year. If they're married, $45,693 or less. The medical side of VA has what they call the VA Caregiver Program. It was formerly called the Caregiver Program for those veterans that came home after serving September 11th, 2001, where they had a major serious injury and they needed assistance with their activities of daily living. The VA created the VA Caregiver Program. They've since changed that with the Mission Act of 2018. It's now called the Program for Comprehensive Assistance for Family Caregivers. And it's now eligible basically for all areas of service, but it's being put out in 2 different phases. The first phase started October 1st of last year, and those veterans who are eligible with this, the phase 1 is for any veteran who was injured on or before May 7th of 1975. Phase 2 of the Caregiver Program benefit starts in October 1st of 2022, and that's for eligible veterans who served between May 7th of 75 and September 11th, 2001. The criteria or eligibility under this expansion for the Caregiver Program, veterans who incurred or aggravated a serious injury or illness in the line of duty in the active military, naval, or air service on or after 9/11/2001 or on or before May 7th of 75. The veteran must have a single or combined service-connected rating of 70% or more. The veteran must need in-person care services for a minimum of 6 continuous months. And it's based on their inability to perform activities of daily living each time performed, or they need supervision, protection, or instruction. It also has to be that it's in the veteran's best interest to participate in the program. The veteran receives the care at home, and the veteran is also receiving ongoing care through the VA medical system. Regulatory changes to this: VA defines the inability to perform an activity of daily living as the veteran requiring personal care services each time he or she comes to completes one or more of the qualifying activities of daily living. Needing help with an activity of daily living only some of the time the activity of daily living is completed would not constitute an inability to perform that activity of daily living. VA defines the need for supervision, protection, or instruction as that the individual having a functional impairment that directly impacts his or her ability to maintain his or her personal safety on a daily basis. With regards to applying for that, that's done through the medical side of VA. VA has an application form, a 1010CG for caregiver, that has to be completed and turned into the caregiver support team at the VA clinic. You can apply online on the va.gov website, or we have the actual application forms. I've got information packets for anyone interested with regards to the Caregiver Program that explains it in more detail and has the application on the very back of it. For any veteran interested in a veteran's identification card, there's several different types of ID cards. The most common veteran identification card is known as the Veterans Health Identification Card, or VHIC. This card is used for any veteran who is eligible to be seen and treated through the VA medical system, and that's made at the VA clinic, and then they mail the card to the veteran. The next one is just the Veterans Identification Card. The VA created this card about almost 2 years ago now. For veterans that are not eligible to receive the Veterans Health Identification Card, this Veterans ID Card was created for those veterans to be able to show that they're a veteran without having to carry their DD 214 military discharge around, because of a lot of different businesses giving veterans discounts. So any veteran that's not eligible to get the Veterans Health ID Card can go online to the va.gov website to register to get the Veterans Health ID Card. And I've got information about the two different ID cards here and how to go about going online if you don't qualify for the Veterans Health ID Card. There's also a Department of Defense ID card, and this is for active military, reserve, National Guard, for those that are retired from the military, and for veterans that are 100% permanent and total service connected disabled or granted individual unemployability. They can get that Department of Defense ID card as well, which allows them to go on any military base. But the Veterans Health ID card, any veteran that has a 10% service-connected disability or higher is also eligible to go on any military base. For veterans that aren't interested in getting those ID cards or not eligible for the Veterans Health ID card, you also have the option of getting the veteran designation on your North Carolina driver's license. As long as you're an honorably discharged veteran, when you go to get your driver's license renewed, you just have to take your DD 214 discharge with you to the DMV, and they will designate on your driver's license that you are a veteran. With regards to burial benefits, VA has a monetary burial benefit. To be eligible for the monetary burial benefit, basically one of two things. The veteran dies from a service-connected disability, where that service-connected disability is shown on their death certificate as a cause or contributing factor in their passing, or if they are in receipt of a compensation or pension check, or would have been eligible to receive compensation or pension but passed away before the VA could make a decision on their claim. They were in a VA medical facility at the time of their passing, or a state veterans nursing home, or en route to a state veterans, or en route to a VA scheduled medical appointment. Then they would qualify for the non-service connected burial benefit. The non-service connected burial benefit is $300 for the funeral. If you are properly hospitalized by VA, then it's $807. That means you are in a VA hospital bed at the time of your passing, or a VA hospital bed was not available and the VA is paying for you to be in a private medical facility. For the service-connected burial benefit, VA pays up to $2,000 toward that. There's also a plot allowance of $807 if the veteran is buried in a private cemetery and not a state veteran cemetery or national veteran cemetery. With regards to other burial benefits, the VA has, for any honorably discharged veteran who meets the service requirements, they have the VA grave marker, they have bronze marker, cremation bronze niche marker, or a flat light gray granite or white marble, or an upright light gray granite or white marble gravestone. They also have, for those veterans that do not get a VA headstone but wish to purchase a private headstone, they have the option of getting what's called a medallion, which shows which branch of service they were in and can be affixed to the private grave marker. VA also issues for any honorably discharged veteran the burial flag, military funeral honors, which is done by the Department of Defense. The VA issues presidential memorial certificates, which is a certificate signed by the president given to your family members honoring your service to your country. There's burial in any VA national cemetery, and then of course there's state veteran cemeteries. In North Carolina, we have 4 state veteran cemeteries. Those are in Black Mountain, Jacksonville, Spring Lake, and it's Elroy, North Carolina, which is just outside of Goldsboro. There's also 4 national veteran cemeteries in North Carolina. Those are in New Bern, Raleigh, Salisbury, and Wilmington. But the only one that is currently still open for in-ground burial and interment is in Salisbury. Another benefit that we often assist with are North Carolina state veterans benefits. The North Carolina has a property tax benefit where if your permanent legal property residence is here in North Carolina and you have a rating of 100% service connected or individual unemployability, 100% permanent and total, or you are the unmarried surviving spouse of a veteran who passed away from a service-connected disability or had that 100% or IU permanent and total rating prior to their passing, you're eligible for the North Carolina Disabled Veterans Property Tax Exclusion, which is where the first $45,000 of the assessed property tax value you're not taxed on. Anything over the $45,000 you have to pay taxes on. For any veteran that is 50% service connected or higher, North Carolina has a lifetime hunting and or fishing license. There's a one-time fee that you have to pay for the particular license that you're interested in obtaining. And also our office assists with applying for the numerous veteran designated license plates for your vehicles. The disabled veterans license plate, you have to be 100% or individual unemployability in order to get the disabled veterans license plate. For any veteran, for the partially disabled veteran plate, you have to pay the fee for the partially disabled veterans plate, but you could have a 0% service connected rating and be eligible for that. Possible survivors benefits is if the veteran died from a service-connected disability, then that surviving spouse would be eligible for dependency and indemnity compensation, also known as DIC. If they are eligible for DIC, they're also eligible for CHAMP VA health insurance coverage where there's no monthly premium, as long as that surviving spouse is not eligible for TRICARE. If you're eligible for TRICARE, then you cannot get CHAMP VA coverage. They're also eligible to obtain the Department of Defense ID card, a certificate of eligibility if the veteran died from a service-connected disability, and then, of course, the North Carolina property tax exclusion. There's also the survivor's pension, which I mentioned earlier, the income and net worth-based program for a survivor. And, of course, they can apply for burial benefits for the veteran. So pretty much that's everything. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
My husband is 100% disabled and he's homebound. You don't know.
Sorry to hear that. We'll talk after this, okay? Does anybody have any just general questions for me? Okay, I've got handouts here with regards to the ID cards, Agent Orange, the Camp Lejeune water contamination, burial benefits, the Caregiver Program, and the pension program.